Travel consideration provided by...
At Marshall's, our buyers go to great lengths to find you great deals on great quality products. It's great. Everything here is great. We get the deals, you get the good stuff. Marshall's.
Eyes feeling dry? Tired? Stressed? Get a boost of moisture with BioTrue Hydration Boost Eye Drops for comfort throughout the day. They're preservative-free, gentle, and made with naturally inspired ingredients. Stay BioTrue to your eyes.
Tomorrow on ET, we are one-on-one with the guy, Usher, his Super Bowl halftime confessions.
A lot of songs, a lot of moments, a lot of dance, a lot of energy.
Can't wait for that. I wonder if I should bring roller skates to the interview. Anyway, trying to get around Vegas right now during Super Bowl week is kind of like being in the Amazing Race in the shells with someone who knows all about that.
Absolutely, Kip. Our buddy Phil Kogan is here with us from The Amazing Race. We're at Vegas indoor skydiving. Phil, season 36 of The Amazing Race premieres March 13th on CBS. And I wonder, is there any challenge that you all do during the show that you say in real life, you're like, I'm not touching that?
That tarantula last season.
Happening now.
The DA's office and the Wren Collective conversations being discussed in a courtroom today. Why it could impact a high-profile case.
And after months of negotiation, the border bill fails in Congress today. Some are blaming Donald Trump. What was at stake in this bill and what the president has to say. Next.
A few changes overnight could impact your morning commute tomorrow. That and the changes we've made to the weekend rain chances in just a bit. News at 5 starts right now.
And we begin tonight with a controversy now making its way into court. More fallout from those conversations between the Bexar County District Attorney's Office and the criminal justice reform group, the Wren Collective.
Today, a judge heard why defense attorneys for a former SAPD officer who shot a teenager in a McDonald's parking lot want copies of those conversations, messages that talk about dropping charges and potential sentences in that case, policy and more. Erica Hernandez shows us how the conversations played out in court.
We filed this motion.
Former SAPD officer James Brennan's defense attorneys believe these conversations contained a jury. Conversations between the Wren Collective and the DA's office about Brennan and his case.
That reveals that the district attorney's office was, it appears, taking direction on matters of messaging and possibly actions to be taken in the case.
Brennan, back in October 2022, shot then 17-year-old Eric Cantu in a McDonald's parking lot after identifying Cantu's vehicle from an evading arrest case the previous night. Records obtained by KSAT show that on the same day, Wren Collective founder Jessica Brand texted First Assistant DA Christian Henriksen, recommending DA Joe Gonzalez hold a press conference with Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar. In that conference, Brand suggested they should announce charges had been dropped against Cantu and acknowledge the shooting harmed public trust. Henriksen replied that he was trying to get Gonzalez on the phone and would advise him to dismiss those charges.
These type of conversations that any district attorney would have with an outside group trying to influence any case, not just a high-profile case, is inappropriate, and we believe it's relevant to our change of venue motion.
Meanwhile, the state prosecutor on the case, Daryl Harris, says the conversations are not relevant.
The subpoena they issued is outside the established criteria for the venue motion, and we would give the court notice we will file a motion to quash it because we're here for the venue motion. Judge may or may not, and that's all it was.
Were you aware of the Wren Collective conversations that were being had in the office?
I was not.
How a judge rules on this motion could impact other cases discussed between the DA's office and the Wren Collective. The next hearing is scheduled for March 7th. Both sides will get the opportunity to argue the relevance of those conversations and what was said in them. Then a judge will decide if those conversations should be considered in a change of venue hearing for Brennan's future trial. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
New at 5, San Antonio police say this man, 18-year-old Joshua Castro, had a hand in a double murder at a gas station on Petranco Road back in December. Detectives say while one suspect is in custody, the other suspect is dead. Castro walked in front of our cameras this afternoon after he was arrested at Holmes High School today. He's charged with capital murder. Back on December 6th, detectives say surveillance video captured the suspects with the victims at a gas station in the 9800 block of Petranco Road. Police say the victims, 34-year-old Raymond and Sierra, and a teenager, were attempting to sell a gun when they were killed. Detectives say going through the suspects' social media accounts, they discovered messages between them and the victims about meeting up to make the sale. On Monday night, another suspect identified by police as Sebastian Toledo actually took his own life just as law enforcement tried to arrest him at a home on Cat Mountain. You may remember that story. Police say there is a direct link between Toledo and Castro.
They were able to see that Toledo was messaging our suspect today, Joshua Castro, who was cooperating with him to rob the victims.
Police say there may be even more suspects. Anyone who may have heard or seen something urged to call detectives. 210-207-7635.
Also new at 5 today, a man found guilty of intoxication manslaughter was sentenced to probation. Fabian Lopez was found guilty yesterday for killing 27-year-old Robert Gutierrez in a drunk driving crash in 2022. He was facing anywhere between 2 and 20 years in prison, but the jury requested that he receive probation and no jail time. Lopez will be back in court on April 3rd when attorneys will discuss the terms of that probation. Happening today, a meeting between neighbors living in the hill country near Helotes Creek and a developer who wants to build a wastewater treatment plant there. That developer is asking for a state permit that would allow the treatment plant to be built there and allow wastewater to be dumped into Helotes Creek. Neighbors are worried that would affect the water in the Trinity and Edwards aquifers.
We need to protect it and not let things get carried out of control where a year down the road or 2 years down the road, it's contaminated and there's nothing you can do after that. How do you get that back?
The developer and the Greater Edwards Aquifer Alliance are hosting tonight's public meeting. It's just about to start. It starts at 6:30 and it runs until 8:30, so in about an hour and a half. It's at La Escondida Celebration Center in Gray Forest. People can get more information about how to file a contested case hearing with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. That deadline is on Monday.
And we'll be talking about this meeting tonight on the Night Beat at 10.
The bipartisan border deal and foreign aid package has failed to pass a Senate vote after months of negotiations.
Democrats say it's because Republicans are getting their marching orders from former President Donald Trump, who's attacked the bill as too weak as he makes the border a central campaign issue in his race for the White House. Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook live at the Capitol with the latest developments. Julia.
Well, there is a lot of finger pointing on Capitol Hill right now after months of bipartisan negotiations ended with this failed bill. It's now started a new blame game that will no doubt continue here and on the campaign trail.
The motion is not agreed to.
A Senate vote on a major bipartisan border deal and foreign aid package failed Wednesday afternoon. Republicans demanded that border security be a part of the bill, but turned against it after facing pressure from former President Donald Trump.
My colleagues in the United States Senate have decided that they don't actually want this solution and don't want to secure the border.
Several GOP senators insist their opposition to the bill has nothing to do with Trump's public comments bashing it.
This just blew up in Leader McConnell's face, and now he's trying to blame President Trump, who, to the best of my knowledge, I haven't talked to him. I'm not sure anybody on the stage has talked to him. We wanted to secure the border. That is why we are voting no.
The $118 billion bill also includes aid to Ukraine and Israel, two U.S. allies at a time of war. It also funds humanitarian assistance for civilians in Gaza. On Tuesday, President Joe Biden weighed in on the deal debacle.
By opposing this bill, they're denying aid to the people who are really suffering and desperately need help. So Republicans have to decide, who do they serve? Donald Trump or the American people?
After the bill failed, the Senate moved forward with a procedural vote that would allow them to start debate on a foreign aid package for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. It would not include funding for border security. Now, even if it gets the support it needs to make it out of the Senate, it faces an uncertain future in the House. Reporting live at the Capitol, Julia Benbrook, KSAT 12 News.
Julia, also on Capitol Hill, the House voted to not to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas yesterday. It failed. It's a big blow for House Republicans. They pushed this effort as a major political goal. What does this tell us about Republican initiatives going forward, especially in the House?
Well, it's just another example of how difficult it's going to be for House Speaker Mike Johnson to lead with this razor-thin majority. He can only afford to lose a handful of votes. And then he's also new to this, and several members were criticizing leadership for bringing this to the floor when they weren't positive that it was going to pass. So it really illustrates this majority, what it's like going forward, and it could get more complicated as well. There's a special election next week to fill the seat that's vacant now after George Santos was expelled from Congress. If that goes to a Democrat, the Republican majority could become even smaller.
Julia Benbrook reporting live from Capitol Hill. Thank you, Julia.
Let's take a look at traffic out there right now. This is I-10 at the Y. It's where 35 and 10 come together right near downtown. It's slow going towards our cameras, usually is this time of day, but perhaps even more so today. If you've been in this area, you might have noticed a big metal stripe right here where all these lanes come together. It's basically a filler for some projects they're doing in the area to try to build up some support, other construction issues they've got going on, but it's made drivers hit the brakes as all of these lanes merge, certainly slowing things down a little bit further here at 5 o'clock.
I was hopeful for another beautiful sunset. I think some communities will get it because of these mid and high clouds that are streaming overhead. I fear that that's a little too thick, that band of clouds that's moving into and is just west of San Antonio at the moment. Nonetheless, between about 6:10 and 6:40, go outside, look up, look off to the west, and see if you can capture any of the beautiful colors. Well, between good and great is what I think it's going to be. Temperature will be in the mid-60s for that, so comfortable to get outside. A little bit warmer in Eagle Pass at 75 now, 72 Floresville, Panna Maria 71, 67 Bulverde and Lavernia at 70 degrees. Partly cloudy this evening, not as breezy. The wind is going to really be hitting the brakes this evening. Southeast at about 5 to 15, and 15, that's just maximum, I think, between 8 and 10 o'clock. Then it's going to really lighten up. After midnight, fog and drizzle developing. 60 degrees at midnight, and we're going to put the temperature on cruise control and stay right there all the way into tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about the changes to the weekend rain chances in just a bit.
Thank you, Adam. Straight ahead on KSAT 12's News at 5, preventative care could one day include taking a drug that stops Alzheimer's from developing. How researchers developed this drug and the timeline for it to actually hit the market. It's next.
Here's a look at what we're working on for the News at 6. SAPD cracking down on street takeovers. Over the weekend, nearly 100 officers made 10 arrests and impounded 6 vehicles. The police chief talking about a new law that's helping officers deal with this danger. UT Health San Antonio unveiling a new dental clinic for patients with special needs. We talked with the director and a parent about the gap this aims to help fill for those patients. Plus,
it's the most important date on the calendar. Not the most important day, the most important date.
She's talking about Leap Day, February 29th. This year is a leap year, but do you know why? That's what we're explaining today in a new KSAT Explains. And we will introduce you to the Leap Day lady. I promise you don't want to miss her. It's coming up today on the News at 6.
A new drug set to enter preclinical trials could help prevent the onset of Alzheimer's disease. The breakthrough discovery brewing from a coffee break that inspired researchers at the University of Arkansas Medical Sciences.
Andrew Mobley shows the process of how these scientists were able to pinpoint one of the main causes of Alzheimer's and develop what they hope is a preventative treatment.
The new drug was unveiled when the team's findings were published in January. The drug, for now christened CBA2. The contents of this vial could one day save your memories. It was a long road to develop the drug. UAMS researchers say the initial inspiration came from a grad student named Paul Parkon during a 2015 break room chat.
Most of our brainstorming session happens in the break room with coffee and donuts. So I was going for a coffee, and then Paul and Dr. Griffin was talking about this interesting mechanisms that they're thinking how ApoE4 could really increase the chances of risk of Alzheimer's.
Dr. Balasubramaniam, inspired, used his computational biologist skill set to create the first complete computer model of the Alzheimer's gene's ApoE4 protein, allowing the UAMS team to find a way to stop it from damaging cells in the brain and causing Alzheimer's. 50 to 65% of people with Alzheimer's have inherited the ApoE4 gene from their parents. The team say that while the new drug can't restore damage that's already been done, it may be able to save people from their genetic predisposition to Alzheimer's.
So this drug that we have discovered, if it goes all in the right direction, it is going to be the potential preventative for people who have ApoE4. So they will be at any other people's risk. It's like cutting down your smoking will bring down your odds of getting cancer to any other normal person.
Much of the excitement surrounding the UAMS team's research is because it promises a preventative treatment to Alzheimer's rather than simply addressing symptoms once the damage has already been done.
I think that's what makes the research so exciting for us at the association, because it's looking at a new therapeutic target, which is, of course, the ApoE4 gene and the impact that it has in the brain. So this is the first research of its kind.
That was Andrew Mobley reporting. Now, right now, UAMS researchers believe that drug CBA2 is 5 to 10 years away from market testing that's required before it could be sold. But the team is in talks with the makers of an existing Alzheimer's drug to adapt that medication to function as a preventative treatment like theirs.
Boy, it'd be great if it works.
Yeah.
You talk to people. That's how they got it. They talked.
Well, you brought up a good point. I mean, they came up with this discovery at a coffee break.
Exactly.
Coffee and donuts.
That's what I think was most intriguing about that, is that it's just because you talk to people. You're not texting. You're actually face-to-face talking to people.
Who would have thought?
What?
By the way, look at those clouds.
Get off my lawn,
Talking about
kids.
talking.
Get off my lawn, all right? Yeah, you talk to people. Things get done. Innovations happen when you communicate, you get together and you chit-chat and whatever. Morning fog and drizzle the next few days. Rain likely over the weekend. And then a Sunday cold front will feel by early next week. First thing, Monday morning. We've tweaked the rain chances this weekend. We're up to 60% on Saturday, so scattered to widespread. Most of it light, but a few embedded downpours are possible, as we'll have a little bit of instability there for the chance of a few thunderstorms. Sunday, we've boosted that to 40% as that front starts to move in. Here's the big picture. We talked about what could be a decent sunset for some folks this evening, so head outside between about 6:05 and 6:40. Otherwise, all this activity in the western U.S. starting to slowly shift eastward, and embedded within this big dip in the upper level flow, we have these smaller impulses that are cycling and rotating through it. One of those smaller impulses will start to affect us as we get into the upcoming weekend. And that's one reason why our rain chances are going to boost. All the upper level energy that's embedded within this upper level flow, that's going to start to slide overhead. Now, I do think the amounts will vary significantly across South and Central Texas, and some communities might miss out for the most part. However, there is the potential that some neighborhoods could get an inch or just more of rain between Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow, we'll have a better idea and we'll be able to hone in more on the specifics, so check back for updates. This morning, 42, a bit chilly in the morning, but 70 by the afternoon. And now we've got those clouds moving in, which is going to lead to some fog and drizzle because the air temperature is 68, dew point right now at 54. Those numbers are going to meet up later on tonight right near 60, and that's going to mean we'll have a saturated well, our air will be saturated, and that'll lead to the fog and drizzle. We've got this flow off the Gulf of Mexico now. That southeasterly wind, that's boosting the humidity. It's not sticky outside, but meteorologically speaking, this is important when it comes to the morning fog and even a bit of drizzle. So the morning commutes could be impacted the next few days from the fog and drizzle and just overall dampness. And you actually feel a little bit of that mugginess, particularly Friday and Saturday. But once that front moves in, it sweeps away the humidity and drops temperatures a little bit as we get into next week. Tomorrow morning, right at 60 degrees. Actually, an unseasonably warm start to the day. We'll have that fog until about 10 a.m., then a few breaks in the clouds, 4 o'clock, 72 degrees. Not much of a wind tomorrow. You're not going to notice it. 74 Floresville, Bandera 72, Uvalde and Hondo 74 for the high temperature. Friday morning, similar fog and drizzle. Then notice we get into the weekend. We've got the rain chances on the rise and likely, but next week, some mornings dipping back down into the upper 30s. So plan for that behind the cold front.
Okay, not done with the jackets. Thanks, Adam.
All right, rodeo road trip officially begins tonight as the Spurs take on the Heat.
Yeah, this morning the Spurs did a very cool thing during shoot-around. They went to a high school in Miami and let those students watch the ending of their practice. And it's National Signing Day, so naturally some schools reeled in some student athletes. Coming up. Some Miami area high school students cheered on the Spurs during shoot-around in big board sports. It is game day for the Spurs, and the guys did a cool thing this morning and held shoot-around at Hebrew Academy in Miami Beach. The varsity basketball players at the school were allowed inside the gym for the final 20 minutes, and they were all smiles and having a lot of fun watching Victor Wembanyama. And Trey Jones loves that the Spurs did this.
It's cool to have, the students in here. Obviously, they're really excited, taking pictures. They were cheering us on. Every made shot, they were cheering. And so, it was really cool to be able to do this.
The kids could not get enough of Wemby. The Spurs will play at the Heat tonight at 6:30. Let's kick off our National Signing Day coverage of Bernie High School, where 4 student athletes committed to the next level. TJ DeMint will play football for UTRGV. Javier Benavides, football at the Merchant Marine Academy. Tayson Farrar, cross country at Southern Virginia University. And Kendall Lim, track and field at Texas State.
I just love the community there. They're all super sweet and friendly, and it felt like home. I believe so. I think I'm going to love it and enjoy my time and probably want more time there.
This is going to be one of the days that I'll remember for the rest of my life. I'm making it official that I'm going down to the Valley, and I'm hoping to make a great impact there in that startup program.
And let's go to Bernie Champion, where at least 8 student athletes signed a letter of intent, including Riley Murish, who will take her softball skills to Guilford College. Karian Garris is heading off to Army West Point for football. Kaylee Kepler will dance at Blinn College. Brian Davis will head overseas for soccer at University of Chester. And Gage Goldberg football at the University of Colorado.
This is awesome. I get to sign my final letter of intent to Colorado, and this whole process can be over, and I'm going to be 100% Colorado.
And how about Cooper Kennel, who's going to East Texas Baptist University for bass fishing? It's a special day for that Charger and his family.
It's pretty cool. I'm first one in Bernie to ever get one, so it's a great opportunity, and hopefully I can expand on it in college and maybe fish professionally one day. Bass fishing's taken off, and it's become one of the fastest growing sports in college.
Congratulations to all those student athletes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is cool.
I had no idea there were scholarships.
And we'll have more signings coming up at 6. No bass fishing, though.
Yeah.
I was hooked.
Oh, my gosh.
No.
We'll be right back.
All right, I'd venture to say it was a rowdy sunrise this morning. It was a good one. We had these clouds overhead. We have a ton of great photos on KSAT Connect. I'm hoping we'll get a little bit of color this evening. Otherwise, warm next few days, cools off next week.
Got to start the day with a rowdy sunrise.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Telling me.
Rowdy. See you at 6.